Michelle, congratulations on your victory. Obviously, it took a physical toll on you there, but how are you feeling after a performance like that?
This is the new eyeshadow color, black eye purple. Anytime you take damage and you get a victory, it doesn't hurt. So I'm super happy to come home with the victory and go home and see my little monkey.
She was having a lot of success early on, right? It seemed like she had the better of the opening rounds, and you had to dig deep and make some adjustments. So what changed over the course of the final few rounds that you were able to start getting the upper hand?
I think for me it was just honestly an adjustment within a couple of inches. The difference in, being a little bit further back and reserved and kind of trying to fight on the outskirts versus just kind of biting down, sitting in a little bit deeper and like intruding on her space, and just deciding, all right, let's go forward.
It was clear that it was a battle back and forth, but later in the rounds, in the latter rounds, it seemed like you were smiling a little bit, even though you had taken some damage. Can you remember kind of what was going through your head as you're in this grueling battle, but you're smiling?
It's a fight, it's a fight. This is what we love to do, and I think everybody has that within themselves. It's like fight or flight. I always remember being in like sport karate and getting kicked in the face and just seeing the blood come down and seeing the blood and not wanting to retreat but actually wanting to move forward. And sometimes you just have to get hit to feel that way. Like, all right, let's go. This is a fight.
Of course, you never know what the judges are going to see. But as far as you and your team, when it came time to read the decision, how did you feel? Did you think you'd done enough to win, or were you a little worried?
Yeah, absolutely. After the third, after the takedown, I feel like the tides changed. I feel like I was the aggressor. I was the one, in her face, pushing the pace and landing the harder shots. Last
thing for me, where do you want to go from here? I mean, obviously that was a big win, high-profile victory over a tough opponent. I imagine you kind of want to rest a little bit after this and, like you said, enjoy the family. But what's the next move for you?
The goal has always been to fight for the belt. I've been chomping away at this for a really long time, and I want to get there. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like I'm like chipping away, and I can't turn around. I just got to keep going forward.
Michelle, to your right. When you say that, you say you want to fight for the belt. You're coming in off of 2 losses. You start off maybe 2 rounds down, right? You're kind of behind on the scorecard. So does it go through your mind, hey, everything I worked for all my career, I need to step this thing up or else I'm going to be in trouble and lose a lot of what I fought for?
Yeah, I think that sometimes when you put all of that pressure on your back, it can be overwhelming. 2 losses. This has to be a win. We're fighting for a main event, 5-round fight with 1 week's notice. What happens if I lose the fight? Will the UFC cut me? I've been fighting for over 13 years. Where is my career going to go? Like, the thoughts in your mind can become overwhelming. So I just decided to dump all of those thoughts and go in there and fight, do what I love to do.
And as you were making the comeback, like as say you got into the 4th round, you turned the tide in the 3rd round, as you got there, did you say, okay, this is where I want to be? And like, was there something inside of you that was talking to you and keep doing this?
It was like, you're having fun, you're connecting. Why do you train so hard, in the gym? Why do you, push the pace in the gym? Why do you do the sprints? Why do you do strength and conditioning? Why do you kill yourself so much in the gym for it to not come out in the fight? Let it come out.
Dana had talked a lot when he was here about, how he knew that the UFC would be successful during the COVID era because of the way the fighters are wired. And so I guess I wanted to ask you, like, what makes you, want to do this, be a fighter to begin with, and then B, in an era where they're saying stay at home, wear masks, don't, shake hands, don't go out, and you're going against all that stuff and doing all that other thing. What is it about you that makes you love it so much that you'll take all these risks to your life and your health and your safety to do it?
Because those are the things that make you feel the most alive. I think it's important to understand that, it's a time of, we're in a pandemic, but it's also important to understand that you only have one life to live, and how are you going to decide to live it? I'm a strong believer that our children learn from our actions. So I'm out here doing it.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Michelle, you mentioned about the late notice to 5 rounds.
Yeah.
How much of a difference did that make?
I don't think it made a difference at all. I think it played to my advantage. Obviously, if everybody thinks that I lost the first 2, but we always train for 5. I live in high altitude. I'm always pushing the pace. I don't have any problem with cardio. So I was really ecstatic to go 5. And I knew Angela was game to do it too.
And last thing for me, I was curious, you had some very nice words for Michael Bisping on the broadcast. You said that he meant a lot to you and you looked up to him. What exactly about Michael do you appreciate?
I just love his genuine love for the sport, and I think that he's, he's just really down to earth and understands what it is to have the heart of a fighter. Sometimes you just have to let it go and go out there, and I think that fighters can relate to one another in that sense, to where sometimes there's so much judgment cast upon fighters, whether they win or lose, but nobody really understands like all the stuff that happens behind the scenes, all the sacrifice, all the pain and turmoil and things that the fighters have to go through in order to show up fight night.
Congratulations, Karate Hottie.
Thank you.
Your last 7 fights have all come down to decisions. What are those thoughts going through your mind in those final moments before you hear the results?
You kind of just, you hold your breath. It's one of those things. Yeah, my last fights have all gone to decision, but since I've been signed to the UFC, the only person outside of my UFC debut and Angela have all been against top 10 opponents, ranked top 10 opponents. And Angela, like Claudia Gadelha said, is underrated. She should be in the top 10. And so when you get up to the upper echelons of opponents, it's hard to secure those finishes, and you can't. Those are things that you can't plan, or those are things that you can't force. Because if you try to force it, then you can see it. So you just have to let the cards come as they may.
To get that title shot that's your desire, you're going to probably have to fight someone that you've already fought, like a Joanna Jędrzejczyk or a Carla Esparza. Mm-hmm. Do you have a name in mind that you want to fight next that you think you could quickly get a chance to fight for that gold?
I don't know. Everybody's been asking me that a lot, but my mind hasn't been on anybody but Angela. I think that I can't look past my initial opponent, because that's where my focus had to be on, was Angela. And like I said when I was talking to you earlier, like, thoughts about climbing the ranks and doing all of this, and it can become overwhelming. You just have to focus on the fight. You have to be in the moment, and I think a lot of fighters can become distracted by trying to get to the big mountain when they haven't even got up past the first or second, third hill. So whatever is to come, I'm going to continue to grow and evolve as a fighter, and I'm extremely proud of myself that I've been fighting for over 13 years and still adding to my repertoire as a MMA fighter. I haven't only stuck to my stand-up. I've been working on everything.
And lastly, going into the championship rounds, it was kind of back and forth between you two. Where did you see your biggest advantage was against her heading into that 5th round?
I think I had, I was landing the harder shots. I was in her face more. I was pushing the pace. And I just wanted it more.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Michelle, your coach put on the brown belt at the end of the fight. Were you expecting that, and what does it mean to you?
Oh, it means the world to me. It's not at all. We were just joking around back there, because after he gave it to me, I was like, man, now I can't sandbag as a purple belt anymore. But it does. It means the world to me. We've been working really hard, and honestly, I really did want to get a submission tonight. But Angela's her takedown defense is super good, so it didn't pan out the way we wanted it to. But that's the fight game. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.